Hello. So guys, I just want you to make understand that how you can make very easy concepts regarding what is prepaid and accruals. This is basically a very basic concept of accounting, fundamental accounting, but most of the students get very confused regarding how to differentiate what is accrual, what are prepaids, and how to incorporate journal entries in the bookkeeping system, and how to differentiate the transactions, whether it is a prepaid or whether these are accruals. I have just prepared a notes in a very short and concise form. I have make different small examples for you to understand. As you can see in this picture, let me zoom in a little bit so that you can see it very clearly. Here you can see that first example, first case is related to prepaid, and the example is you have the year ending on 31st December 2022. The opening prepaid expense will be given. That these are the types of examples which are mostly tested in different questions by the examiners in various case levels, different study examples in different classes, whether it is CA, ACCA, A levels, O levels. These are basically tested in various exams, and mostly these problems relate to these different examples. If you understand these very basic examples, you will be able to solve all these problems. If you have any further query, you can comment below. I will answer these queries, and I will try to prepare further another video on those problems. If I see that there is still problem remains, still there is a confusion, I will make another video. First, let me explain here. In this case, you will be given the opening prepaid expense, and that prepaid expense would be related to period January to February. You see, your year ending is 31st December 2020, but the opening balance of prepaid will be related to the amount which you have received in the previous year, related to the period of January and February 20 and 2020, right? And this expires this year. If you see that basically this amount was received in the last year, but it will expire in the current year. Opening balance is 4,000. What is, you have to understand the nature of prepaid. Prepaids are those payments related to expenses which we have paid in advance, for against which we still have to consume the benefit of those payments. We still, the period of that payment is has to still expire, has not yet expired. The period for which the amount has been made is yet to be expired. Like in this case, the amount was paid in the last year, but the months fall in the next year. Here you can see that basically the periods is January and February 2020, but you can see that 4,000 relates in the current year, and during the year, the amount paid during the year period 1st March 2020 to 28, right? You have paid another amount during the year. In this case, basically there is a difference. Prepayment basically relates to a certain period, and that the certain portion of that period for which you have made payment expires in a 1 year, and certain period of that period expires in another year. The amount which relates to the period which expires in the year which relates to your question will be expensive, and the remaining amount will be treated as prepaids. Prepaids are also called prepayments. This is the same name used for prepaid as well as prepayments. What you can see that the 30,000 relates to this period, but you can see that the period up to 31st December falls in your current year, and the period of next year regarding January to February 2021 falls in the next year here. and the debt period which falls in next year will become your closing balance. And what you will do here, I have prepared a ledger T account for you understanding. You can see that there is opening balance of prepaid and you have made payment during the year. What you will do, you will calculate the amount which will expire in your current year. This 4,000 which you have paid in the last year but relates to the period of current year, this will be the expense. So plus out of this amount, the period which falls in your current year will also be expense of this year. But how you can calculate this? You can divide this 30,000 by the 12 and multiply by the 8. What is 8? 8 are the number of months which expires up to 31st December 2020. And this will be the what? You can actually simplify this by drawing a by drawing a ledger or a T account. You just place the opening balance, you can calculate the closing balance, you will write down the cash payments, and what you will get, you will get the balancing figure. This is the expense amount. You will declare this, you will show this amount in the profit and loss account. In where? You will show this in profit and loss or the statement of comprehensive income. I have just prepared another case where what you will do. Here the same. You will have opening balance of 4,000. You have paid 20,000 and you have to calculate the closing balance in the same way I have calculated in the previous example. Place all these figures in the ledger account. You will get a profit and loss account balance. This is the balancing figure which will be shown in the profit and loss, and this closing balance will be shown as payments in the balance sheet. Basically, in the question in the paper where the MCQs questions are tested, he may ask you that if the closing balance of prepaid is higher than the previous year closing balance, then what you can do? Payment for the year is 30,000. Expense for the year is 20,000, 29,000. Right? If the question examiner asks you that closing balance of the prepaid is higher than the opening balance of the last year or the current year, then which means that the payments made during the year are higher and expense made during the year are lower. But if the closing balance for the year is lower than the previous balance, here you can see that 3,000 and here you can see the 4,000, which means that the payment is on the lower side, expense is on the higher side. Here you can get the answers for the MCQ questions. Let's discuss the accrual expense. In accrual, what are the accrual expenses? Accrual expenses are those expenses which the benefits of a certain amount you have consumed, but you have still not paid the amount regarding that expense. The amount has not yet been paid, but the benefit has been consumed. When the benefit is consumed, then the amount becomes due, liable to be paid at a certain date. Whenever this situation comes, you will do record an accrual expense. The entry of the accrual expense is expense account debit, accrual expense account credit. Accrual expense are liabilities, and prepayments are your current assets. Your entry prepayments are your current assets. Accrual expenses are your current liabilities. Here I have also prepared case studies 1 and 2 where you can understand that what will happen if the opening and closing balances changes. And mostly in the case of MCQs, but you can also understand how to prepare a ledger or T account. Here you will know that accrual if the 4,000 balance is given, which means that this entry was recorded in the last year, but the payment will be made during the year, right? You can see that 4,000 opening balance of the available, you have paid 30,000 during the year. In this balance, 4,000 relates to the last year, which means that only 26,000 relates to the current year, which means that you will get the balance of the current accrual balance by dividing 30,000 by the 12 multiplied by 2. This period relates to next year. This accrual, this payments was relating to next year. What will happen? You have paid amount only up to October, and you have not yet paid the amount relating to November 2020 and December 2020. And that 2 months you will record the accrual expense. You can see that these are the accrual expense entry. This is the opening, and this is the cash payment during the year because it is a liability account. That's why opening balance is placed on the right side, closing balance is placed on the left side, and the cash payment is placed on the left side. You will get the balancing profit and loss figure. This will be shown in the profit and loss account, and this balance will be shown as current liability in the balance sheet, right? If the closing balance of accrual is higher than the opening balance, then which means that payment is lower and expense is higher. This is opposite to the prepayments, right? In the case 2 is opposite to the case 1. In this case, what you will get opening balance and closing balance. Opening balance is higher, closing balance is lower, which means that your payment is high and expense is lower. You can see these examples. You can understand. If you have any question, query, you can just message on the comment box. I will try to respond, or you can, if you need further explanation, I will prepare another video on these topics. What is accrual income? Accrual income is also called receivable. Accrual income is also called receivable income or income not yet received. This is income, which means the amount has been accrued but not yet received. This is just opposite to the accrual expense. In this case, what you will do, you will have to, as this is accrual income is a current asset, that's why the opening balance is appearing on the left side and closing balance will appear on the right side. You will calculate same just like you have calculated in accrual expenses. This opening balance represents the amount which was accrued last year but will be received in this year. You see that 30,000 was received during the year, which includes 4,000 of previous year, and we can calculate the closing balance of regarding November and December. Accrual income will be the closing balance, and what you will do, you will place opening balances, closing balances, cash received. You will get the balancing profit and loss figure. You can see that in this case, if the closing balance is higher than the opening balance, your receipt is lower, your income is higher. You have to make understanding of these topics. I hope that I am able to explain this very clearly, very neatly to all of you guys. If you need any further explanation, you can just comment below in the message section. And that's all. Try to subscribe this channel for further future videos. Thank you.